Well, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of Rimshots with Sean, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk. I have my good friend in NYC hooks me up with all these up and comers, and we have another band here. A Way Out is the name of the band. I have Rob, a fellow drummer, and Freddy, guitar player. And gentlemen, welcome.
How's it going?
How's it going?
It's going great. So look, without, I guess, you always hate to ask the same questions and whatever, but your band's been together how long now?
Uh,
Uh,
since 2019.
2019.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man.
It's been so, and I mean,
yeah.
obviously, you guys get together, and then we have that whole shutdown thing, which was, it treated different people differently. Rob, I'll ask you first. Did you guys use your time during that whole lockdown productively? Did you guys kind of just take a hiatus? What did you do?
We didn't really stop working, we used it very wisely and efficiently, man. It definitely didn't put us in a setback, if you would actually call it that. If anything, I actually think it created a bit more time for um, the producers' availability and all that other stuff to create awesome music and all that other stuff. So yeah, it turned out pretty well actually. Yeah.
Well, and I'll throw this over to you, Freddie. I mean, this podcast came out of, the whole shutdown. I figured I'd be doing it for 5 weeks. I'd be back playing again, and lo and behold, here I am 3 years later. But anybody that kind of used the time, I guess, constructively when everything opened up, they were that much further ahead. It sounds like that's what you did, I guess, to get, you kept your momentum going from 2019 till now. Is that a fair statement?
For me personally, I had actually been out of the music scene, the whole like music world for quite a few years before joining back up with Rob, Josh, and other Josh, our bass player. I actually reconnected with them in 2020, so that was me kind of like getting back in touch with music, and so definitely use that time to kind of, I guess, just kind of like get back into like a guitar playing rhythm, just, with all the time, what are you going to do? Practice and just get back into it. So definitely try to be more productive now, especially as things are definitely taking off.
Well, I mean, you know what? I think everybody agrees. We don't want to talk about that time anymore. I mean, it's. I had a conversation with somebody today who sent me. It was one of those YouTube videos where everybody kind of had to do stuff in their own house, and I remember thinking back, oh man, that was terrible. Where you couldn't really see anybody, and you didn't have the luxury of going out and going to shows. Everything was done online, and it got very impersonal. And so, I mean, it's good that you guys are back at it. So I understand you guys are a little spread out in terms of where your members are, but you get together. Rob, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were just in Houston this past Saturday all together, which turned out pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm out here in Vegas, man. Josh and him are out in San Antonio, Texas. I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas too. But yeah, when it comes to practicing and writing and all that other stuff, it's generally a co-op arrangement to where we can meet up and we can get stuff done and efficiently, um just basically get stuff done. So yes. Sorry about that,
I got to
man.
ask before we go any further. So, as a drummer, who are some of your influences?
Danny Carey from Tools, my number one influence. He's
That's
a
a good
big
one.
influence. um and Chris Adler, Lamb of God, big influence. Neil, obviously. And yeah, man, I grew up with a lot of classic stuff. Um, I'm a '90s kid, so yeah, you can only really imagine, and a lot of '80 bands too. So yeah, but definitely, I would say Danny Carey from Tool is my number one for sure.
Good choice right there. Okay, Freddie. So I'm about to introduce my viewers to A Way Out, and somebody says, "Okay, well, describe the band." So in I don't know, 10, 15 seconds. Give me your elevator pitch on A Way Out.
So it's definitely modern rock, a nice blend of we all grew up in the scene days as we call it. So it's definitely a modern blend of that with Bring Me the Horizon, Linkin Park vibes, has a little bit of electronic feel to it. Definitely something that everybody can listen to. Not so much something that you can just put as a label on it. Definitely, I feel like it can reach a lot of different tastes for people.
So, and I mean, in this day and age, and everybody knows, I mean, the music industry has changed so much, and I've got a bucket here where you'll go like, what the heck? But I mean, these things are making a comeback right here, right? Vinyl, right? And it's
Yeah.
huge in
Oh
that,
yeah.
the game when I was kind of getting into things was get rid of vinyl, make it, CDs or whatever. Now it's making a comeback. And if you listen to, some of that old vinyl, the tones on it are incredible. Rob, talk to me about absolutely, absolutely. Talk to me about what you guys have done in terms of your recording, your process, and how that's gone.
So, as far as like the format we use to record into, or
Yes.
so yeah, so for this track, Kyle Odell, it was just some as far as interface, I don't know if I need to go that detailed, so it's kind of a bit hard to explain. But I believe he was using like an antelope interface at the time, which a lot of people probably don't know what that is, and that's okay. But yeah, it was all in the box, pretty much, minus the actual drums, which were real, and all that other stuff. So and I had Ted Jensen, who has mastered pretty much every big rock band since the 80s. He also mastered it too, while Robbie Joyner mixed. So yeah, had a lot of hands on it as far when it came to the actual production and to get it sounding good and stuff like that.
So if I can use a baseball term, I mean, you guys were swinging for the fences on this one, right? I mean, you want to make sure that the product was solid and, I mean, listenable. Everybody wants a listenable product, but maybe something a little extra special. Is that a fair statement?
Freddie, what do you say? Yeah,
I would say
definitely.
definitely, yeah. Especially, nowadays, people are capable of so much more as far as music production. So kind of makes you have to work that much harder to really make your stuff sound or set yourself apart from everybody else.
Um,
Yeah.
it,
Sorry. Go
it's
ahead.
interesting because, you talk to musicians and everybody seems to have had to reinvent themselves the last 3 years. I did an interview with Billy Sheehan, and even he's living in Nashville now, and he's talking about he had to reinvent himself in a way because when he's doing session work, they want the name Billy Sheehan, but they want him to play kind of a lot simpler. When you guys were writing for this project, did you kind of, I guess, look at something and go like, we want to kind of maybe emulate that, or was it just a blank canvas and you guys did what you were going to do, and the songs came out as they did? Maybe Rob will ask you first.
Yeah, actually, I think it was just good vibes, man. I really think that's what made everything flow together, plus a lot of good influences. We never once said, let's make it sound like this, because we don't do that. We don't like to sit there and try to copy other people exactly. And that's one goal when in the writing process, too, is just trying to make sure that we have our own unique sound to where it's going to sound good.
Well, that's important. So you know what, gentlemen, what we're going to do? We're going to take a little break because we're a podcast, but we're big business, but we still have to pay some bills. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back with A Way Out after this. Welcome back to Rimshots with Sean, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk. We have Rob, we have Freddy. A Way Out is the band. And I was going to say from Texas, but I mean, we had already kind of talked about the fact that you guys are a little bit spread out, but what are you going to call your home base when everything comes out in the presser and all your PR and stuff? Rob.
San Antonio. San Antonio.
San Antonio. Which is cool. And I mean, so I've never been to Texas. I'm a huge, well, I wouldn't say I'm a huge Cowboys fan, but I've all followed, well, I've followed the Cowboys. I know there's a great music scene there. Because I've had some friends that have been down there as recently as 2 months ago. Freddie, talk about the scene that's down there right now.
Yeah, the scene, it's definitely something that's really interesting and funny enough that you bring that up. We recently had Franz from Attila react to the music video, and he also touched on how the growing scene is here in San Antonio. So you definitely have a lot of bands in different genres, really coming up and really putting a whole lot into their music. So I feel like the scene is, especially coming out of the last couple of years, it's definitely something that's really booming and getting stronger. Like I said, just everybody's has music to put out that they've been sitting on for so long. So it's a good time for music here in San Antonio.
So I'd ask you this, Freddie, just to kind of, I guess, dot the I. So would you guys have like maybe a cover scene and then an original scene and then this genre original scene? Like, what's the schematic of what everything like? If I was to visit San Antonio and I want to go on a pub crawl, what could I expect to see down there?
That's kind of tough to answer, I feel, if you want to take this one, Rob. But I would just say really quickly, you can literally go to different venues to catch any different types of band that are just willing to play. And that's another thing too. You have a lot of bands that really just want to get themselves out there. So you can, catch any type of band in any type of venue that's willing to have them.
That's very cool. I should mention, hey, we do this a lot, so hit the subscribe button because we're always looking for subscribers. I should also mention, go Golden Knights. I don't know if you're a hockey fan or not, Rob, but we're in the thick of that. They're up 2-0 right now, so that's pretty exciting.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so you being in Vegas, I mean, I have some friends that live there, and I have some friends that have been there, and how much of that scene does that affect you at all? I know you do some other things as well as the band, but does that affect you as a player or as a musician at all that you bring when you go into to deal with the fellas?
Like me being in Vegas or so.
Yeah, like is there any influences or anything that kind of rubs off on you that you might make you uh, take notice or borrow or what have you?
Sorry, I'm not understanding the question. I'm very sorry.
No,
Say
no,
it
it's all
again.
good. So you're in Vegas.
Right.
Is there any part of that scene there that you would maybe use in a way out that, are you influenced in any way about what's going on down there?
Definitely not. I'm not involved with the scene here. Um, I'm I know a lot of the big studios here, like the Hideout, which has been responsible for the records of like Ozzy Osbourne and Disturbed. I know all the staff there; they're really amazing people. I know a lot of studio owners here, but as far as like the local scene, I really haven't gotten involved yet. But I definitely will be getting involved once we start touring and all that other stuff, which is what I'm really excited for. And actually, I'm still involved in the San Antonio music scene because that's where I grew up, and that's where all my friends are, like on social media and stuff like that, and that's who I associate with. So yeah, it's actually kind of pretty cool. So I definitely say it's a huge advantage when it comes to that, actually. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad we dug in on that because the reason why I asked that is a lot of people that I know that maybe visit, they find it a very hard place to focus on for obvious reasons and get down to work. But living there, I guess, I'll put it like this: when I lived in Toronto, I never went to any of the scenes because they were always there, and I kind of took them for granted. I wasn't the tourist, right? So living in a place like that, I'm guessing has no effect on how you conduct your business in terms of practicing writing, to prepare to go out and tour. Is that a fair statement?
Not at all. Not at all. And that actually, yeah, you know, I never really second guessed it. And when it comes to if I have to travel and stuff like that, like on Saturday, I literally flew to Houston and then I flew back the same day. It was crazy, but it's definitely. I think it's fun. It's different, and it actually brings excitement to actually being in a project with other people, and especially the fact that like you know, um, just like flying in and getting to hang out with other people. The same thing with practicing and stuff like that too. It definitely brings a new type of feeling every time and a fresh one. So, which is why I think it's pretty cool.
And that's what we call legitimate tax write-off. So we learned something else here today too, guys. Keep your receipts because that's important. All joking
Yeah.
aside, Freddie, so you guys are going to go out and tour this. I mean, I guess the first question I'll ask you is what's on the horizon in terms of, the goal. We're coming up on the summer months. What are you guys planning to do to get out there? Is it going to happen quick? Or are you guys going to kind of pushing it off? When are you going to get out and start playing some shows?
I feel like shows probably, we all have that itch to get back out on stage and start playing live shows again. But realistically, we probably won't really start focusing on live shows maybe until the start of next year. We really want to focus on our campaign now as far as getting, our music out, having it reach listeners, building up a following, that way when we do hit the stage again, people at least will hopefully have a better idea of who we are coming out.
Right on. And I mean, I'll say this, and she's off camera right now, but I've had the opportunity to work with Jamie quite a bit over the last almost 2 years, and you have a good person there pushing you guys and whatnot, because she every time that she has something that she knows is good, she reaches out to me. So for her to contact me to say you got to talk to these guys, I think says something. And if you guys are focusing on this push, and I guess Rob, where are you guys at in that cycle? I mean, it's a cycle and whatnot, but it's important, right?
Definitely important. It's also it's one of the main focuses right now. A lot of ideas being thrown around, a lot of good ideas. All the ideas are awesome. So far we're doing pretty good. It's definitely catching momentum. I think we've been out maybe 12 days, 13 days. We're at 10,000 monthly listeners so far.
Amazing.
Just on Spotify. So it's absolutely it's doing really well. And what we have planned for more singles and stuff like that, I think once we do start playing shows, it's going to be awesome. And the cool thing is the amount of content we have, and songs to just release back to back, like actual singles, to where when we are on the road, we are still releasing music. We're sitting on over like a year's worth of actual material here, and that's with music videos and all that other stuff. So it's really exciting for all the audience, and I would think they're in for a really good treat when it comes to following us and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I'm pretty excited, and it's doing super well. And she is doing just an awesome job.
Well, and I joke about this a lot, because social media is such a funny thing, right? Like you'll do something and you think that it's really amazing, and it does well. And then the joke is, some guy finds a potato chip that looks like Richard Nixon and he gets 3 billion hits, and all of a sudden the internet goes crazy and you're sitting there going, what is going on? But that's the reality of the world that we live in, right? I mean, as much as we want to joke about it, you have
Unfortunately.
right? You have a very quick window to capture people's imagination, and not only capture it but keep it. So Freddie,
Yeah.
it sounds to me like you guys are hitting your stride with this.
Yeah, definitely. You touched on a really great point, as far as not just catching people's attention, but keeping it. Everybody has such short attention spans nowadays, so you really want to hook them in and make sure that you can keep them.
And you know what? I live it every day, and you sit there and you gotta do your best to not be frustrated, because sometimes things don't make sense. But it does. I actually had this conversation with Jamie once. It was just like, what do you got to do? But the right people will find you and continue to support you. So, okay, boys. So here we go. I'll throw this over to Rob. We're almost done here, but my viewers who are very loyal and they like to support the artists that I have on my podcast, where are they going to find about A Way Out?
On all socials. That's Facebook, that's TikTok, Instagram, you name it, we're on it. And you can find us on there. And if you need to contact us, you can message us. and you can be on the lookout for pretty cool stuff like stickers and merch. All that is actually coming very soon. So we'll definitely get you taken care of. So yeah.
Well, and isn't it great that you guys have that? Because, for a long period of time, I don't know if you remember, like, when Kiss used to put the albums out, there was always the album and all kinds of stuff, right? Like posters and then that kind of dried up. So it's cool that you guys are doing that because I think it's so important. And given the fact that the music industry is so wacky now, it's a great way to kind of create revenue for your band, right?
Yeah.
Yep, 110%.
Right on. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for doing this. It's a pleasure meeting you. We'll stay in touch. I want to watch your ride here. And hey, if we can help promote you more, absolutely. Jamie knows how to get a hold of me. And we'll see you soon.
All righty.
All right. Thank you so much for having us, man.
Peace, guys.